Kerry here from HomesteadHow, and today I'm going to show you 4 life-changing lessons that I've learned from the Amish that I think will really help you. Let's get started. So I've spent a ton of time over the last several years with our Amish friends, from ice harvesting to learning how to drive a horse and buggy.
Get up. Okay, Mike, loosen up a little bit.
Oh! Where are you going, Kerry?
There we go. That's right, they taught me how to drive a horse and buggy. I'll leave a link to that video in the description below. But I've learned so much more from them in terms of wisdom and life skills that I never would have imagined, and I'm going to share those top 4 things with you in today's video. So let's start with number 1. The first thing I learned from the Amish is anyone can start a business. We're close friends with an Amish family for 2 years now, and most Amish only go to school until the 8th grade. They don't have access to the internet. They don't have access to the information we have. If I wanted to go start a firewood business right now, I could look on the internet. I could network with people. I could find all the information I want. They don't have any of that, yet every single Amish family I know runs a business or multiple businesses. And some people will say, well, they don't need that much money. They grow their own food. False. Our Amish friends have 9 children. They have a large house with acreage. They go to the store, they go to the hardware store, they go to the grocery store. They grow most of their own food, but they still have considerable expenses. He just had a major surgery he had to pay for. They have real estate taxes. They have a lot of things they have to pay for. With 8th grade education, never going to college, no access to the internet, they all run their own businesses from their property, from their homestead. That is the dream of every homesteader I know. They want to become a homesteader, and they don't want to go work for the man 8, 10, 12 hours a day or have their spouses working as well. They want to live on their homestead and work there. We're very fortunate here at HomesteadHow. We've been doing that for 7 years. We've never had to leave. We run a business, several businesses from our homestead. Every Amish family I know does that as well. So how do the Amish do this? The number one thing that I've learned is they don't make excuses. So many non-Amish people I know, when they're asking me about my business and what we do, they always say, oh, I could never do that. Oh, I don't have the time for that. Oh, I could never figure that out. They're too scared. They have too much fear, and they won't go out and they won't start their own business. I don't have any fear of failure. I embrace the failure because there would be no success without failing a bunch of times. What would be a huge failure to me would be continuing to work in a job that I hate under fluorescent lights in an office for 12 hours a day for the rest of my life until I'm an old man, and then I've never done anything I've enjoyed, and I've just worked for the man my entire life. That would be a huge failure to me. Not starting a business that I might fail at. Who cares if you fail? Everybody fails. So that's one of the things I found really interesting about the Amish is so many homesteaders contact us on our YouTube channel that's about homesteading. How do you afford your homestead? How do you do it? How do you manage? Well, every single Amish family I know has a homestead, a successful homestead, and they support it 100% with their own businesses from their homestead without going out and working for somebody else. If all of the Amish are able to do it, you're able to do it as well. The second thing I've learned from the Amish is about effective partnerships and seeking counsel and advice from experts. So if you think about some of the greatest entrepreneurs of all time, they all have something in common, and that is they all had effective partnerships. So Bill Gates had Paul Allen, Steve Jobs had Steve Wozniak, Hewlett had Packard. If you look at all great entrepreneurs, most of them had some sort of partner or advisor that was giving them wisdom and helping them make decisions. And it's the same thing with the Amish. The Amish will not start a large project or a business or some endeavor without seeking the advice and wisdom of the elders in their community, of either the elders or someone that already has experience in that. That's one thing I found fascinating about the Amish. They have an expert for everything. So if you need a cabinet builder, you go see this guy. If you need some metal work done, you go down the road and you see Felty. If you need someone expert growing like wheat or corn or something, there's an expert for everyone. And they don't just sit there and try to figure it out themselves. They seek the advice and wisdom of those people before starting a big endeavor or project. I've done the same thing over the years in my life, starting different businesses up. I'm always looking to seek advice and counsel from people that have done it already, who have already made the mistakes and had the failures they can tell you, and then you can get started after they've already went years through the business and made all those mistakes, that you can start fresh and you can focus on the things that are going to take your business to the next level, because you're not wasting the first year or two making all those mistakes that others have already attempted and made failures at. So that's one of the second things I've learned from the Amish. It's critical. It's so important when you're going to start a big endeavor, whether that's a business or a large project or purchasing a new homestead or a property, to seek wisdom and advice from others. The third thing I've learned from the Amish, and this was the most profound, most interesting one that I never would have thought I've learned. Again, I've spent a ton of time with our Amish friends. The most interesting thing that I realized shortly after meeting them is they have no fear whatsoever. And it's not a fake thing. Like you see some tough guys walking around, oh, I'm not scared of anything, but they're really scared, or they have anxiety, or they have fears, or they're worried about their paycheck, or what's going to happen in the world, or the next pandemic, or whatever. The Amish have no fear whatsoever. And it's not just that they don't have fear, it's that they actually have 100% faith in God. They leave everything in God's hands. So the biggest thing I realized was during the pandemic, we were meeting with them, and I was asking them about it, and they're like, yeah, we've heard about COVID, but we're not worried about it. They literally had no worry when the entire world, and keep in mind, this was at a time when you turn on the news and they were pulling semis up to the hospitals and they were showing the death counts, and it was just death and mayhem, and everyone was anxious and scared and frightened. Amish did not worry about it at all. And rightfully so, because how would it have helped my Amish friends to worry about COVID for 2 years like most non-Amish people did? It would have made absolutely no difference to them. Their approach is, let's worry about it when it becomes a problem. If I get horribly sick and something happens, let's worry about it then. Can we prepare and be safe? Yes, but do we have to sit here and worry about it and watch every single news article and constantly lose sleep over it over and over again for years and years and years? They don't do that. They don't have that fear. And as a result, they have an incredible amount more of time and energy to focus on things that do matter, like focusing on their family, focusing on God and church, and focusing on their homestead and growing their own food. Think of how much energy is wasted. I know I've done it myself. Sleepless nights, worrying and anxiety, and so many things we worry about never come to fruition. They never needed to be worried about in the first place. The Amish have no fear. They have 100% faith in God, and they only worry about something if it's a direct problem. They don't, as the quote goes, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. They don't walk around life every day fearing things that are not currently a problem. They only worry about the things when they become a problem, and then they tackle it. The fourth thing I've learned about the Amish is the best way you can change the world, or anyone can change the world, is by changing oneself first. Focus on yourself. You can never change someone else. I've had so many conversations with our Amish friends, and one of the biggest questions I had for them was, does it bother you that you guys are driving a horse and buggy and you're being very conservative and safe, and you're growing your own food, and you have no waste whatsoever, and then there's non-Amish people just buzzing by you in the car, and they throw their trash out the window, and they're wasteful, and they're using up all the resources? Does that bother you at all? The answer is no. 100% absolutely not. It doesn't bother them at all. They're only focused on themselves. Why would it bother them what someone else is doing when they have absolutely no impact on it? There's nothing they can do to change it. One of the things I see so much in the world today is young people that are so enthusiastic, and they've got bumper stickers all over their car, and they're going to strikes, and they're trying to change things and change policies and change things, but it does almost nothing. And one of the things that I've realized with the Amish some more, and just thinking about it myself, is the only way you can change the world is by changing yourself. Are you the best person that you could be? Are you the best father, husband, friend, uncle? Are you the best business person you could be? Are you the best churchgoer you can be? If you focus on yourself and change yourself, you can have a sort of ripple effect that will change others around you and will change your world. But if you go out and try to change someone else, and if someone has a position and they're stuck in their way, you're almost never going to change their mind. And the amount of effort it would take for you to change their mind would be so much more well spent focusing on yourself and changing yourself and improving yourself. So those were 4 pieces of wisdom I've learned from the Amish. I'll recap those really quickly. Number 1, anyone can start a business. Stop with the excuses. Number 2, to be successful in a business or large endeavor, you need to have effective partnerships. Seek that wisdom and counsel from others. Number 3, have no fear, have no anxiety. Worry about things when they become a problem. Don't spend your entire life worrying about things that are never going to even affect you. And number 4, the best way to change your world is to change yourself first and focus on yourself. So I hope those things help you. We've learned a ton from the Amish. We've done some really interesting videos, and I really wish more people would have watched some of those. I think maybe you didn't even know that they were out there, but the one we did on Amish ice harvesting was really interesting. We went with their tree cutting crew and we cut down some trees. I learned to ride a horse and buggy. They've taught us about gardening. We've learned so much. I'll leave a link to some of those videos in the description below. Please leave a comment down below. Sort of the theme of the video today is wisdom and what we've learned from others. What is some wisdom you can share with me and with other people watching our channel? Thanks a lot for watching. Here's some of our favorite photographs we've taken on around our homestead this week.